You have a tribe. You have a tribe of people. It might be 10 million, it might be 100 million. You don't know. But the problem is they don't know you exist. That's what the marketing is. Making sure your tribe finds you.
This motivation. Suck, get on your job. If you hate, get on your job. You can look me in my eyes, see I'm ready for whatever. Anything don't kill me, make me better.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Likeable Figgas. You're now rocking with your boy, Major Wala. And today, I got a guest. I've been following on Instagram for a minute. He give a lot of dope content. A lot of it. So I want y'all to tap in with him after y'all watch this interview. I want y'all to tap in with him so you can soak up the game the same way I have. I'm gonna let him introduce himself because I only know his IG name, but I'm gonna let him introduce the way he want to be introduced. So holla at the people, man.
Yes, sir. First off, I'm gonna start off and thank you for inviting me on your platform. My name is Travis Otusajo. I go by Mr. Wealthpreneur on Instagram. And a little bit about myself. I mean, just a normal guy, you know, inner city kid in Baltimore, doing knucklehead stuff, you know, went to the military, and that's what it took for me to like finally get some discipline. You know what I mean? Like, cause at first I was just always a rebel. I was a rebel without a cause. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just a contrarian. You know, whatever you saying, I was disagreeing with. You know, I ain't had no discipline, no order, no structure. And for me, the military got me that exposure. It helped me understand, like, all right, moving like this ain't gonna get you where you want to go. You know, so that's when it really like hit me. So I mean, it's simple, you know.
Straight up, I was in the military myself. I was in the Marines, so
okay,
sure enough,
I'm
understand
a
what
Navy man.
Oh, you was in the Navy? Okay,
yeah.
That's what's up. So when you say the military, like, really gave you that structure that you needed, I can honestly say it. I see young people that I see, and they ain't got nothing going on. I'm like, why you just want to go to the military? And I understand people feel some type of way about it, but don't go for no other reason. Go for what you want to get out of it. And then once you get in, you'll stay for other reasons. It's better than just going back and forth to jail. You know, because
anything better than that.
You know, I recommend that for people to at least 2 years of your life, especially just if you're leaving high schools.
But I'm gonna say something controversial on that.
Yeah.
Like, I wholeheartedly believe everybody in our country should have to serve at least 2 years.
Man,
you know, they do it in a lot of other countries. I agree because first off, like, and I preface this with a story. Like, I remember I was at like it's called Downtown Locker Room. I don't know if they got those where you live, but it was Downtown Locker Room. It's kind of like Foot Locker. And I'm down there and I asked for a military discount. So the girl, you know, she starts being like a military discount. Why every time y'all military guys come in here, y'all think y'all supposed to get a discount or something? And I looked at her like I was taken back. I'm like, what have you done for this country? Like, shit.
Real talk.
Like, you were just born. That's it.
Real talk.
You just won the lottery. You know, you was born in a right place.
Exactly.
All us won the lottery just by being born in the right place. Like, we could have easily been somewhere in some other country, 6 years old, somebody putting the AK in our hand and us having to shoot our parents or something crazy to be a part of this militia. Like, we don't know how this could have went. You know, so I feel great that, you know, I went and I served. I don't like everything about it.
Yeah.
But I can say, you know what I mean, they gave more to me than I gave to them.
Straight up. Some people had to give their life. So when I see a person that say, oh, y'all military people think you like, bro, I understand you volunteered to sign up, man, but just know that it's people that's between 18 to 23 that they might not come home to their families, and they doing this for you to be able to go to your job, to live the life that you live carefree. You know,
if you're a Crip, if you're a Blood, if you in a fraternity, if you're in a sorority, to me, all these things is gangs or have some type of cliquish type vibe to it. You know what I mean? You
Camaraderie.
brought
Yeah.
into a culture. I don't
Yeah.
care what you call it. You cannot separate, you putting a flag on the back of your pocket and somebody being in the military. Not to me. You can't
Yeah.
separate being in the police. That's a blue gang to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't
Exactly.
separate it in a bond with these people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You got that because they been around you, you've been around them, they got your back, you got their back. Like it's
For
simple.
real.
You built the culture with these people. So it's
Yeah.
the same thing.
I got some questions I want to just pick your brain with, and just
Okay.
go with it the way you want to go and give the people what you want them to have. Basically, are you a full-time entrepreneur, or do you choose to do entrepreneur on the side, or how do you do that for yourself?
I've been full time for about a year and a half, but ironically, I'm about to go back to work. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So I'm just about to go back to work. Like I just wanted to have that balance. Like I have a real good job. Like it's millionaires at my job. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, yeah, I had options. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm gonna go there, do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that.
Straight up.
That's my story right now. But yeah, no, I love the entrepreneur grind. Like it's really nothing like it. But
Mm.
I can say you got to be prepared for this, man. Like this
Yeah.
entrepreneur grind, it takes so much like discipline and structure. And one of the things I realized, we'll work 8 hours for somebody else,
Mm.
but work 8 hours for
For
yourself is a
yourself,
little harder. Like, you know what I mean?
man,
Because ain't nobody right there like looking over your shoulder telling you what to do.
and you
That's
ain't
why
hit no
entrepreneurs
clock.
always reinventing themselves too.
You go to work and you hit the clock. You really not working the whole entire time, but you getting
No,
paid the whole entire time.
exactly.
But when you're doing it for yourself, you have to be disciplined enough to work the whole entire time because you don't get
Yeah.
paid until the work is done. It's a different type of mindset that you gotta have because I've been full time since 2019. I became a full time
Congratulations.
entrepreneur. Like it takes you having the mental fortitude and the discipline enough to stay on task, to stay
Mm-hmm.
focused on whatever you got going, not be distracted by this person, or you can make $1 million doing this. If you focus on this, you got to be able to stay locked in and focus on it until it get to the place where it's functioning by itself. So, what field did you choose to go in once you became an entrepreneur?
I started with real estate.
Okay.
So back in 2015, I bought my first house, and
Mm.
I lived in there for about a year. But what I didn't realize, like I was in a very nice neighborhood, and I was a single man at this time,
Now,
and I'm there, and I'm noticing people got like the boats, the kids, the backyard, and everything, and it took me being in this environment for me to realize, like, yo, I think I'm what they call house poor.
yeah.
Like I got
Yeah.
enough money to,
Hey,
to live
say
here.
that again. Like, because
Yeah,
most people don't
for
understand.
real.
Because I understand what you mean when you say
For
that, but
real.
most people don't understand. Most people
Yeah.
just look like I got a house, but no,
Mm-hmm.
you can be house poor. You
I
right.
was house poor. I was
You
house
right.
poor. I mean, I had enough money to get my furniture and do a couple of things, but I wasn't ready to buy the toys and do all the other stuff I wanted to do,
Right.
and then I'm racking up credit card debt and everything. It was just getting hard because at this time I had just started working at my job, and it's a seniority system. So when
Yeah.
you new, you don't really get no hours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm taking everything they willing to give me, and I'm doing anything on the side trying to get some extra money, but it's getting rough. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my God. I'm smart enough not to lose my house.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna lose my house or do nothing. Like I still could afford it, but I just wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough that my mother lived like 20, 30 minutes away. I'm like, man, I'm about to come, move
Yeah.
back in the house, and
Straight
I
up.
rented my property out.
Because from the outside looking in, someone who not, I would say, savvy enough, they'll look at that and like, oh man, he falling off. But when I look at it, I'm like, bro, that's a power move.
Yeah.
That's a move that's going to make that person go to the next level. Because what you turned a liability to an asset just like that by not having the trying to keep up with the Joneses type of mentality, having the mentality of someone's going to look at that, an ordinary person will look at them like, oh, he must can afford that. No, it ain't that I couldn't afford it.
I could afford it. Like I could pay the mortgage. Like I wasn't
Yeah,
struggling to pay
but
my
it's
mortgage.
smarter to gain something from it. You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying?
Like I was trying to get ahead. I was
Yeah.
just getting by.
Growing up, they hypnotize us with, oh, you're gonna have to get you a house. Like it's people that look at purchasing their house to live in as a big step in life, as like I made it.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know, like I had to tell my old lady, convince her and tell her, like, listen, living in the house, your first property that you buying, that is going to set you back because it's not an asset. We've been trained to believe that it's an asset, but
Mm-hmm.
really it's a liability because
Yeah.
it's not putting nothing in your pocket. Like either stay in one side, rent the other side out, or just rent both sides out. Now you created two sets of income from one property. So it's just about thinking different, thinking smarter, I would say. So when you started, what inspired you to get into real estate?
I mean, for me, it was seeing my father. Like my father owned like a bunch of properties. You know what I mean? Like I think to this day, my father still owned like at least like 13 properties. Growing up, seeing him be an entrepreneur, I got to see entrepreneurship in front of my face. So I think I always had the desire. I just needed the passion and the reason to go and do it for myself. So when I bought my first property in 2015, and like I said, I realized I was house poor. And once I realized I was house poor, I decided to move in with my mother. You know what I mean? I took 2 steps back to take 4 steps forward. You know what I mean?
Straight up.
So for me, it was sacrifice. And then it's like
Yeah.
I'm by myself. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
have a friend that lived out there, and he had the wife, the kid, and all that. So that would have been harder for him to make that step. But since I didn't have those things, holding me back, I was just like, you know what, dog, just go back. Like only thing could hold me back was my ego. And
Yeah.
I was like, man, listen, I'm
Just,
trying to get ahead. I'm gonna pay these credit cards off. I'm gonna learn real estate a little bit just through being a landlord. And like, we're gonna get it.
smart move to me. That was a
Mhm.
very smart move, if you ask me, for real. So when you got into real estate and you started being a landlord now, so now you got a tenant. How did your priorities change once you became a landlord that you're dealing with tenants?
I hated being a landlord. I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. That's overrated. I swear, it is like I follow so many real estate people. I know so many real estate people because I done paid so much money in mentorship. Like, I'm cool with my guy Brian Rigbu. I'm cool with Keith Everett. That's real estate Diddy. You know what I mean? Like I know some of these guys. I done met them in person. But in the beginning, it was like, yo, this being a landlord stuff, this is hard. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
stupid stuff was happening. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
Mhm.
I think at first I'm making like I want to say like $400 or something like that
Mhm.
a month in profit. And
Yeah.
then, I'm like, it's okay, that's cool. You know what I mean? I'm able to pay a couple bills, do some things. But then stupid stuff start happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she was like, it wasn't Section 8, but it was like one of those assisted type of
Yeah. Like
program.
based on income
Yeah,
almost. Yeah.
exactly. So she wasn't paying like what everybody else was paying. And I think because of that, she didn't have the same care everybody else had,
Yeah.
you know?
Run down.
So exactly. So like and stupid stuff would happen. Like the first big thing that happened that I think was crazy was she said she was washing the outside of the window. And I know you see some of those windows, they got the little thing and you could kind of push it out and
Yeah.
you like cleaning the window and everything. And she done pushed my window out. Joint and
The
dropped out.
whole one.
The whole window just fell out. I'm like, why is you trying to clean the outside of what is you doing? One move. Like people don't realize in real estate, the danger in being in traditional real estate is that one or two things can go wrong and all your profit is gone.
Yeah.
Like you was up. Now you like a year behind. You like, man, you trying to make some money, but everything else going into your expenses. And
Yeah.
that's when I was like, no, I don't like this. I don't know if I want to keep getting rentals. You know what I mean? Like this might get too hard.
And
Dealing
you
with
got
people is
people like you
hard.
say, through all these trials and tribulations of dealing
Yeah.
with it, you basically smarter than what you was back then because you went through experiences. So if you can go back to the beginning and you start off with knowing what you know now, what would you say would you be doing different?
I instantly would have been on some, seller financing, owner financing, rent to own, you know what I mean? Because that same property, you know what I mean, I still get paid off that same property. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But the difference is I went and, I was going to these REI meetings and meeting people and starting to find out who all the real estate people is and finding the right person
Yeah.
that was speaking to
Yeah.
a certain way.
Mentorship. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got into mentorship. And that's when I learned about creative financing. And then I
Okay.
was able to go back to that same property. I got some bandit signs. I put up rent to own, and I got lucky. I met the right person.
Yeah.
This is a guy that he was recently divorced. He had the woman he was with now, and he trying to put things together, and he wanted everything to be in her name. But this dude had money. He had
Yeah.
money, but he had bad credit. You know what I mean? And I was just like, oh, this is a match made in heaven. Like he owned like 6 trucks. He was a truck driver, down at the port and everything. So, he was getting money. He showed proof of funds and everything. So what I did was I got him to put a $2,000 payment down just to show that he was serious. He gave me that. Then we worked out all the math, and that I created a what they call a wraparound mortgage around it. So I took my mortgage that was like 3.5%. And I'm paying a certain much, my taxes, all that. Then I wrapped the mortgage, and then I wrapped I think I put like a 4% or whatever. So I think his interest rate is like 7%, 7.5% or something like that percent or whatever. And I was able to, still be able to cash flow. But the difference is now I put him in a situation where the property, title, everything is in his name, but created a situation where I get to be the bank. So now I'm the bank. So listen, if something go wrong in that house, he can't call me. What he gonna call me for? That's his house. That's on him to fix it. You know what I mean? So now, that's what I recommend. Every time I talk to my friends, I just had a friend talking about renting out his house. I said, no, do the rent to own, brother. You know what I mean? Or seller finance that, man. You don't want to own. The game. That's why I got into trust and stuff, because the game is about own nothing, control everything. That's the game. I don't want to own nothing. You don't need to know what I own. I'd rather you think I'm broke. You know what I mean? I'm trying to move quiet. Us, especially if we still got family in the hood and we like to. I'm beyond it. I still like to go in the hood and let people know and talk to them and everything. I ain't trying to stunt on them. I ain't stunting on them. I come light. You know what I mean? I come light. I got a little Tesla or something, but I'm not coming hard. I'm not trying to bring the Bentley to the hood or do nothing crazy. But it's I'm not trying to move like that. You know what I mean? That jealousy create envy. You know what I mean? Envy, somebody that hurt you.
Like you say, I ain't trying to be famous. I don't want to be famous. I just want to be wealthy
the money, a whole lot of money,
a whole lot of it, and make it work for itself and recycle.
It's just like you with this podcast. You doing your podcast, but the goal probably ain't for you to be doing the podcast forever. At some point, you want to try to, be on some EYL stuff and build a network and start having other podcasts under your brand and stuff like that. That's the natural progression. The natural progression ain't to be in the worker position forever. You know what I mean? Exactly. You can't have generational wealth if it needs you. At some point, you don't need to need you.
If you the business, you can't be the business.
You can't be the business because you're human. Humans get sick, we die, all types of stuff.
Get tired, you gotta sleep. So, what's some everyday things that you gotta overcome just to keep your business running?
The biggest obstacle is me. It's me versus me. That's the obstacle. You know what I mean? Stare at the man in the mirror and challenge yourself to go do what you need to do to get the job done. You know what I mean? To be on some, some neo type stuff with, it gotta work or it gotta work. Really and really mean it, man. It's I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I probably come across as a motivational speaker or something like that. But I don't always like listening to motivational speak because I know everybody don't mean it.
You know
what I mean? Everybody don't mean it. You know what I mean? And I can say it was points in my life where I was motivating people, but I didn't mean it. I'm just saying, because you could see it in the eyes, that's what they need to hear this.
They need to hear.
But at some point, you just talking to yourself.
That's why I tell people anyway, motivation if you running off motivation,
Mm-hmm.
motivation dies out. Like you
It
can
does.
sit there and watch a motivational video, you can get
Mm-hmm.
motivated, but once it dies out and it's just you there, bro, it,
Mm-hmm.
it comes down to discipline.
It
You gotta
does.
be disciplined enough to know that, bro, I gotta keep going, even if ain't nobody sitting there saying, man, you doing a good job. You doing
Yeah.
good. Hey man, you killing it. That's not gonna always be there. Ain't nobody saying that from no small fry. Ain't nobody gonna applaud you. Like you gotta be able to have the self-confidence within yourself to say, this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it regardless until it produces. And once it
Exactly.
produces, I'm gonna keep doing it some more.
Exactly. Hey, like shout out to, my mentor, Myron Golden. You know what I mean? He
Mm,
said, don't get bored with it, get paid with it,
facts.
And that's something that, if anybody hearing this, like I'm gonna say it again, don't get bored with it, get paid with it.
Hey with it.
Because it's so easy to get bored. Like you think it's, what I mean, like you think you find something where you can make 50,000, 100,000, you know what I
Mm,
mean, in one transaction. But the thing is, if you ain't never made 50,000 or 100,000, you might get King's disease. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like not necessarily you get King's disease, you on the hill, like that's enough. You
yeah,
sit back, you feast, and then you don't come back out the house until you need to eat again.
yeah.
And that's what a lot of entrepreneurs do, and they be killing them.
I heard Markel Russell. You heard
Yeah,
of him?
yes,
He
sir.
said that. He like, man, hey, what keep people away from a million is 500,000. Because
Mm.
you get to 500,000, you realize like, hey, this ain't that bad. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm
you
good.
know what I'm saying?
Good.
Bro, you gotta think about a person that ain't
Mhm.
never had nothing. You
Yeah,
say you want to be a millionaire, but if I
yeah.
give you 500,000, will you still have that drive to be a millionaire?
Most people they wouldn't.
Most people not.
Most
That's
people
why I
not.
tell any person, if a person think they need money to start a business, if you think money is the issue, don't start the business because you assuming that money is the reason that you don't got it. Because once you get the money, you're not going to have the
Mhm.
drive to keep the business going.
And I think that's why, so many people go in debt so far in their business, and then they ended up they go from the cheerleader for their business. And
Mm.
then once they done pumped in, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, and they in all this massive debt and it's getting hard or whatever. Now it's like, don't do that. That it don't
Yeah,
work.
they
I'm telling you,
scared.
it don't work. Right. And they trying
Yeah,
to scare everybody off for the business or whatever. But that
yeah,
happened because they wasn't doing good business.
yeah,
You
yeah.
never learn how to do business. Like like spending money ain't business. You know what I mean? Because
Exactly.
the people would think they can spend their way out of the problem.
Yep.
It's like you got to find what caused the problem, and it probably wasn't the money.
It's not
It
the
probably
money.
was. It probably was you not answering phone calls, you not doing consultations, you not
Following
getting
up.
back to people like you were supposed to. You know what I mean? Like the problem, your back end is terrible. You know what I mean? You can't even keep up with the people that you're serving because you don't have no CRM system and you
Yep.
don't know that you made an appointment with this person on Thursday and you'd have missed
You
the
ain't got no
appointment. You getting a
SOP.
bad name. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know how you just winging it as you go
Mhm.
instead of having structure.
And it's so simple, right?
Yeah.
The thing that's wild, you know what I mean? Because like we done paid people to learn how to do stuff we already know how to do. That
Mm,
be the wild part, right? You know what I
mm,
mean? The thing is, you're not used to documenting the process.
yeah.
You don't document the process. That's the only thing stopping you from really getting it. Like if you at 5,000 a month, that's what stopping you from getting the 10 or 20
Yeah.
or whatever. You know what I mean? You don't document the process because once you document it, now just like you said, you just open up one file, you show them it's everything what to do from the top to the bottom. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you have anything, get back with me, and we still gonna talk a few times a week just to make sure you on course. You
Yeah.
know.
When you first started your real estate empire, how did you make your initial investment?
All right, so this is my first real estate deal, man. So this how it happened, and this a kind of convoluted deal. Like it had a lot of pieces to it, right? And I was just like, I might I might need to make like an ebook or something like just full of case studies for like some of the deals I had because no deal is the same, right?
Yeah.
So this how this deal. So it was a lady. I'm not gonna put her name out. She had just lost her husband. She was one of my mother friend's friend, right? And she lived in Virginia. And she had already blew through all the money that he left her and insurance and everything. And her house was going into foreclosure. The most important thing for her was she did not want to have her name in the paper. She didn't. She was in a small town. Everybody knew her, and she just didn't want to be embarrassed. Like that's what her focus. Like I just
Mm.
please, you know what I mean. You got to make because she about to lose her house to foreclosure, and then right after that, everything become public. So
Yeah.
the whole goal was we got to stop foreclosure. I met this woman in December. At the beginning of December, like I want to say like December 12th, her house was gonna go in foreclosure January the 1st of that year. And so I don't really have a lot of time, So we trying to figure out like exactly what we could do. And then it's the holiday. So it's not a
Yeah.
lot of business days. So that made it harder. You know what I mean? The courts and everything keep
Yeah.
closing because of Christmas and all these holiday events coming up. So I'm like, all right, man, I really got limited amount of time to move. So,
Yeah.
we negotiated on the price and what I get and everything. And the back end paperwork wise or whatever. But I said, listen, I can't like I want to basically get you back right, get you whole, and catch these payments up. But the issue is, if I don't know if I catch these payments up, then you could just run away and do anything. So like I need something to give me assurance. So for
Mm.
that, we did a transfer, a deed. So I convinced her to transfer the deed into my LLC. And I said, once you do that, I will pay, and catch you back up, whatever. So that was a scary thing because technically I owned her property,
Yeah.
So I own her property. And, we did the transfer deed. I was a man of my word. And I didn't even have the money. Like I went and I got a loan and
Mm.
I was able to get the money, what I mean, from the bank. I went to Navy Fed because I've been with Navy Fed since like '04. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Went to Navy Fed. I got like a $12,000 loan. I owed like it was like $10,000 something dollars and some change or whatever for her, and I caught her up. And at this point, I'm the owner of the property, and you think it's gonna be easy, like, oh, we up, this
Yeah.
good now. It wasn't good, you know what I mean? So first, so now we got it. She back feeling good again, and she back in our spirits, and that's when she want to start telling how it's going to be and how what I mean, and
Yeah.
do it this way and do it this way. And I'm like, well, I mean, I own it, but I don't want to. I don't want to, use my trump card or get
Yeah.
on or nothing crazy like that. Because at the end of the day, litigation, people can lie and say, you did this or under duress or whatever. So we wanted to get her out of the property, but she was kind of like hesitating with leaving and everything. And it's like,
Yeah.
are you supposed to be out by February? You know what I mean? And we getting closer to March. And I'm like, well, listen, we got to get you out the property because first off, I got to put some money in this property even to get it sold. Then she was like, well, I thought you had the money and all this. I'm like, no, no, I'm going to fix the house up and sell the property. Like I told you that. Oh, well, I had no idea that that's how it was going to go. And you lied to me. And it was,
Yeah.
it was getting all
Yeah.
messy. And it's like, oh man, it's crazy how people get selective amnesia or whatever. But
Yeah.
lo and behold, we went there, me and my lady, we had went down there and we had to hire some people on Craigslist. You know what I mean? We had people not showing up because at first I posted Craigslist like $10. $10 wasn't enough. They wasn't jumping for that. I had to go up to like $20, and I like
Yeah.
got somebody, the first day I had like one or two dudes. The next day, one of the guys poached one of my dudes. So then now I ain't got nobody working for me. He got him another job. And I'm like, oh my God, because this was a big house. This is a big house on the water. And we had a lot of stuff we had to move out. And
Yeah.
we finally got the house moved out. It took us the whole weekend. Like I was there from Friday to the whole end of Sunday, like getting her out. I went through a racist guy that lived next to the house that where we was moving all our stuff in, and he was tripping about the U-Haul being on his property and acting like he wanted to shoot it. Like the deal was crazy, But like I was like, what is going on? Like it was
Hey,
the
that's
U-Haul got stuck. Like we had
hey.
to get somebody to pull the U-Haul out. It was crazy.
To everyone out there in TV
Yeah.
land and internet
Mm-hmm.
land, that's
Yeah.
entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
entrepreneurship is. Don't
Yeah.
think it's smooth sailors and
Mhm.
Lamborghinis, because
Yeah.
it's not that.
Yeah.
But
No, the first deal
you
was a
gotta have a passion for it, because the passion is what's gonna
yeah.
make you keep going.
Yeah.
Like you just said, you seen all the things that he had to deal with. off to sell. It's just one property. That
Just
wasn't
one
a
property.
bunch of properties. That just was one. It
I had
one tenant.
I had to put everything into that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Then then we finally got her out, and I ended up having to put like I want to say another 10 or $1,000 into the property because the basement had mildew in it, and her heater wasn't working anymore, and so we had to put some money. We had to paint some stuff and everything. I had to keep the grass cut, and it's a lot
Yeah.
of grass, because I
Yeah.
put this house on the MLS. And
Yeah.
the realtor is like, "Oh, listen, you got to keep the grass cut. I can't, have nobody keep coming up." The grass guy was like $100 every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, people don't realize all the expenses that go. And we finally found somebody that was ready to buy the property for the price we wanted.
Exactly.
And I was able to. I got like $100-something check. I had to pay her money, and I ended up leaving that deal with 50 grand. That was my first
Yeah.
deal.
But people don't like. That's why I say
Mm-hmm.
once I became an entrepreneur, from that day forward, I told myself I would never complain about a person price
Yeah.
because I understand the things that people put into is the reason that they pricing in that thing because it's obstacles that they had to jump through to get to that price.
No, it's true. And it's crazy. I know real estate, everything has a certain level of ignorance that exists in the marketplace. And
Mm.
real estate is definitely one of those things. Like,
Yep.
think about it. Like, people lose their house every day. Like, imagine how many houses, people just lose for not paying their bill. But some of these same people have, wholesalers calling them back to back to back to back. And they won't sell their house for that 20,000 or that little, wholesale ain't gonna get
Yeah.
you all the way right. I mean, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
let's be real, but
But at least you get
you about to
something.
not you about to not make no money, lose your house, and
And it's gonna
possibly
be
have
on
to
your
go into
credit.
bankruptcy. You know what I mean? Just to get out of it, instead of, but you rather go through all that pain because you think, well, I'm not gonna let this person get my house for no $20,000 or $5,000, but you gonna give it back to the state. You're gonna give it to the bank, the government.
For
Like the
zero.
lunacy that exists in people is crazy. Like just if you ever had to cold call people, the
Mm.
lunacy is crazy. Like it took me a while
Yeah.
to just get back in the cold calling because it's like,
Yeah.
really, really,
Man.
you about to lose your house next week, and I'm trying to put some money in your pocket. Right.
Yeah. So all right, this part of the interview, man, I like to, get inside people's heads and see how they just see life in general. So this word success. If you
Mm.
had to define success in your own words, what would success mean to you?
For me, at this stage in life, success is just waking up, being grateful for the small things. My level of appreciation is so much higher than it used to be. Like
Mm.
like like I thank God for things that I didn't used to thank him. Like I could still walk. Like I think about those things now. It's like
Yeah.
it's somebody that just like I remember it was like a meme or something, and it was just showing it was basically like a person walking, a person on a bike, a person in the car, and all, this person in the car is like in like a hoopty. Then he looking at the person in the nice car. You got the
Yeah.
person that's on the bike looking at the guy in the hoopty, like I wish I had a car. You got the person, walking, wishing he had a bike, and then you got the person walking, there's somebody in the wheelchair wishing he could walk.
Yeah.
We all are gifted and blessed, and we all have our own things that make us unique. And I just see success and just being thankful that I can go after it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just another opportunity, man. Because I
Mm-hmm.
think like every day, every single day, they call it the present for a reason. It's given to you. This
Mm-hmm.
present moment is given to you.
It's a
Man, I
gift.
don't know who I heard said this, but he was like, man, I think it was Ike Johnson. He was
Mm-hmm.
like, man, it ain't guaranteed that when you go leave home in the morning, and it ain't guaranteed that you gonna make it back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a blessing. It's a
Mm-hmm.
blessing that you make it back. It's a blessing that you can breathe, that you
Yeah.
can got a sane mind, that you in your right mind. Like,
Unappreciated blessings, man. It's so many
things
things
that you can't buy no more.
you can't.
You can't buy no more seats. Once, hey, you can't buy sense. You gotta the sense that you have, you can build on it, but you
Yeah.
can't spend money to buy it. You
No,
know?
all us trying to get rich, you know what I mean, and get wealthy or whatever. It's a billionaire right now, laying on his deathbed, you know what I
Yeah,
mean, wishing that he would give all his money away to be us.
yeah.
And the truth be told, you don't want to be him. Like I
Hey,
was just listening to Myron Golden and on one of the video he did for his YouTube, and he was basically saying, it was some people in live on the set or whatever, and he was basically saying like, how happy would y'all be if I just gave y'all $1 million right now? Oh yeah, we would love to get $1 million. All right, I write the check and it's going clear. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, 'cause I got it. But he said, but what if I told you if I gave you that $1 million, then you basically had to kill yourself, or you had to
Yeah,
die on Friday or something like that. Now
yeah.
that the $1 million is not that desirable
It's
anymore.
not so
You know,
enticing no
it's
more.
not so enticing. You know what I mean?
For
And
real.
that's really what it is, man. Like we got to be way more thankful. And I think you really can't get to your greatest blessing until you happy about these little things. These
Yep.
little things help you get to the big things. I swear to God.
I
Like
promise you.
I
I
promise you,
promise you,
like
man.
this gratitude thing is not something that people just say. Like it's a real deal because a lot
For
of us
real.
not humble. You know what I mean? You got people like me. I was the only child most of my life or whatever. So I'm naturally probably selfish. I was I
Hmm.
didn't have to share my toy. I had to become an adult and learn to share. They
Every
already.
person got something to be grateful for. That's why I believe gratitude is so powerful too, because it's something that every person
Yeah,
can express it. Like you got
yeah.
the right to express gratitude no matter what stage of life you in.
See, but the issue and the reason why I believe most people don't have a lot of gratitude is because most people, what I mean, I just think about my own city. It's
Mm,
people in Baltimore that never been, they from East Baltimore. They don't even go
mm.
to West Baltimore. You know what I mean? Like it ain't even
Yeah,
that far. It's people that never been out the state.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, so it's people with no exposure.
yeah.
Like, I started having gratitude when I got exposure. I got exposure through travel. When I started traveling and started seeing how people was living, seeing all these different conditions, that's when it hit me. Like,
I
oh
bet.
man, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Exactly.
You know, some of our conditions, man, like some of the
Yeah.
conditions people was living under,
So
it's crazy.
you won't know better until you get up out that environment. So with this whole journey that you've been on, man,
Mm-hmm.
journey that we call life, what would you say you enjoyed the most about it, man?
What did I enjoy the most? Man, really, it's the self reflection, man. Like I think
Mm,
I enjoyed the most. Like you think it's like when you first start out. You know what I mean? You have a goal. You so excited about it. Just like how
yeah,
we was talking about the motivation and all that. You know what I mean? Like people would pray to have like somebody like Wallow in the back of their head telling them to get
yeah,
up and do
yeah,
what they need to do.
yeah.
But
Every
you
day.
don't. Yeah, every day. Like Wallow going to do that, right? You know what I mean? So, but you know what I mean? Like you so excited in the beginning of your journey, and then you bump your head, a couple things don't work out the way they're supposed to work out, and then that's when you find out who you are. I
Exactly.
didn't
It
know who I
reveals the
was.
man to himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know who I was. What they call that's Jahari's window. I didn't know.
Mhm.
I did not know who I was until I faced adversity, and then I had
Exactly.
to find out. Okay,
Yeah.
you built a little different. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And I ain't gonna lie. Like I had moments that knocked me down, and I was out the game for a couple months, but I could never lay down. I could not
exactly.
ever lay down. Like I always like I'm gonna keep going back. I'm going to get through this wall. I'm gonna keep
Exactly.
bumping my head until I'm knocked out or this wall gonna break. Period.
Exactly. See, that's the type of like some people be inspired when they hear people say, "Oh, I made 1 million, and then I did this, and I made 5 million." Like that inspires some people. Like, but for
Mm-hmm.
me, when I hear like a real person say something like what you just said, like that was inspired me because I know I go through those same things. I
Yeah,
know that, bro, it's be times where you be feeling like, man, is it gonna work? You don't
yeah,
know. And then you got your family, they depending on you. You're trying to stay strong and stay and keep faith that it is going to work. But
Yeah.
man, it be some days where you fall flat on your face and you got to get back up. And sometimes it be harder to get back up than other times, but like you got to always get back up and keep going, man. So that
It's a
inspires
mm-hmm.
me.
You not, and that's the testament of being a man. Like
Yeah,
being a man, like we don't, we don't really, as men, we don't really talk about the like how hard it is to be a
yeah,
man. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's just
Facts.
certain things that people not gonna do for us. You know what I mean? Think about all these rappers, like like this
Mm,
brothers being killed every day. You know what I
every
mean? It's just
day.
another thing. It's not even important. Like being a
Yeah.
man, like like you got to be a woman of a kid to get love. Our value is based off of what we
Provide
can
and
see and provide, like
earn.
you said.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that means whenever we not earning, like our ego is hit because it's like it's so much riding on us being
Oh
able
my
to
goodness.
provide.
I
It's
promise
so
you,
much riding
man.
on us, and that's heavy load to carry. And people
Exactly.
don't talk about that load that we gotta carry. Like it's
Yeah,
tough.
cause
And in business, there's so many things they don't tell you. You think you go out and you learn a skill, and then you let people know you do it. You think that's enough, but
yeah.
nobody trusts you.
Yeah.
Nobody
No,
trusts you. You know it, but
you
they
gotta
don't trust
show and
you yet.
prove. You
Yeah,
gotta
you got to
show and
show and
prove.
prove, and
For
in
real.
order to even show and prove, you got to get somebody to trust you to even
Yep.
show somebody that you got somebody to
Results.
trust you. You know what I mean?
Results,
To get that
exactly.
review. And that's the hard part on the front end, getting people to believe,
Yeah.
learning about branding, learning about being an authority in what you do. You know what I mean? Those are
Exactly.
things that I had to get mentorship for because that
Mm.
wasn't a natural, instinctive like, oh, this is what I need to do. But
Yeah.
low key, I truly believe this. Like we around 8 billion people on this earth, right?
Yeah.
And you cannot tell me that everybody don't have at least 1 million or more people that identify exactly what you do. Like you have a tribe. You have a
Yeah.
tribe of people. It might be 10 million, it might be 100 million. You don't know. But the problem is they don't know you exist. So
Exactly.
that's what the marketing is. Making sure your tribe finds you. Because you don't
Find
want
you.
nobody that don't resonate with what you say. I only want people that when they hear me, like when I post stories or say certain things, I know who in my tribe. It's people DMing me like, man, I needed to hear that, or you know what I mean, or
Yeah.
people sharing stuff like that. That's people that my messaging resonate for. If whoever it don't resonate for, it's not for you.
Exactly.
Go on, move on, continue, unfollow me, do whatever you need to do. I only want my people.
Facts. 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 Because like you say, every person got their audience. You got your
Everybody.
audience. The most unique you have to be is yourself. Being yourself is you're made to inspire someone else just by
Mm-hmm.
being you. Someone gonna look at what you done, like that you might look at as ordinary. They gonna look at it like it's extraordinary.
That's why I never subscribe to the thought when people say stuff like, "Oh, this person better than you." You know what I mean? It could
Yeah.
be anything. It could be
Yeah,
a
me neither.
relationship, whatever. Oh, they're gonna find somebody better than you. They
Mm.
can't find a better me because I'm the only me.
Only me.
They can find someone else. That's what they could do. They can't find me.
Exactly. If that's that one person out there, man, that's on the edge of entrepreneurship or just working and just trying to figure life out, what's some words will you give that person out there to get it started, man?
I mean, the first thing I would say is write it down.
Mm.
You gotta write it down. Like sometimes we live in our head. Like it's power in that pen. Write it down.
X.
Write it down. Plan out what you can, what I mean, what you know to do. And then you need to research and read if you're willing. Like, cause there's a few ways. Of course, the slowest way is probably not doing nothing. The
Yeah.
next way is you reading and going on YouTube and Google and finding everything. And we don't know how long. I don't know how quick you learn. I don't know how long that's going to take you. You're probably going to make more mistakes than you need to. And the
Mm.
fastest way is getting a mentor and somebody who's already proven has success. And then that person will guide you to do what you need to do in the quickest amount of time. But the thing is, to get connected with that person, it ain't free.
You
It
got to be
ain't free.
willing to invest in yourself.
You got to.
And you got to be realizing that, Bird, everybody's not trying to scam you. And if you got burnt one time, don't let that deter you the next time.
That's why they said scam stand for still confused about money.
Yeah, oh, I love
Mhm.
that. Oh,
Yeah, man. Like people don't realize, first off, how did you vet out this person? You know what
Mm.
I mean? Because I done ran it. Like I done. If you know enough about the thing you're doing, you will know a scammer.
Yeah.
You know, like if you
Facts.
read a book on the subject of what you're doing, they'll say enough things that don't align with the information you read for you to figure out this person don't really know what they're doing. Or if it's real estate, pull their HUDs out. You know what I mean? Like I can pull a HUD statement. I can show you the transaction I really did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I ask people to pull them HUDs out. You know what I mean? But you gotta do your research. People don't do their due diligence and then they get upset and mad. Like, no, that's your fault. Sometimes some losses is my fault.
Yeah.
You
But
gotta
you
learn to
gotta
take
learn from it.
accountability. It's okay
Yeah.
to mess up. The only problems, I think I wrote this the other day. Like, yo, at this stage, the only problems that I want to have is dealing with money. I
Yeah.
want to have money problems. Like those the best
Exactly.
problems to have because I can
Exactly.
always make money. All these other
Exactly.
things, I can't get time back. I can't get my health back. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Money, that's easy. I don't care. I don't care if I'm $1 million in debt. I will figure out a way to pay that bill. As long as I'm alive, I can figure out a way to get that. But there's other things I can't get back. Like money not your problem. Your hustle your problem.
You hear them then.
The
Hey
bread is out
man.
there.
I mean, I appreciate you for coming on with me
Yes,
tonight, man.
sir.
I promise you I do. Like, I'm grateful for this, most definitely. So, there y'all have it. That's another episode of Likeable Figgas. I'm your boy Major Wala. This is my homie, Mr. Wealthpreneur on
Yes, sir.
IG.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put it in the
I'm old
description.
enough to be a mister now.
Yeah, yeah. You missed anyways, man.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
you're a man, you're a miss.
Thank you.
So, there y'all have it. I'll see y'all in the next one. All right, peace.